StrayAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is speed increasing habits. Before we get into this, I'll remind everybody I send out a text message every day, guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day. I call it the daily motivation. We also send out a similar message on Mondays. I call it the Monday motivation. It does the same thing for your week. You can get either one of those messages by texting me directly. To get into my text community, it's free to join the community. My number is 305-384-6894. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That is where I do all my coaching. Anyone I work with directly, it happens in the university, and we work with people on a 4-part framework based on mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability. You want to get into the universities, just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. The link is down below in the description, wherever you are consuming this. With all that out the way, let's get into today's topic, which is, again, speed increasing habits. As I've been talking about, operating with speed and urgency a lot here on the show. I talk about that all the time here. I'm going to give you some things today, some tips and some strategies that you can start employing immediately that will help you operate with more speed, which will allow you to get more done. It will allow you to live more life and enjoy more of that life while you are still here, right? Knowing that our time eventually expires. If we can operate with more speed and get more done in less time, then we can live more life and experience more life before it runs out. So let's get to it. Point number one. Topic, once again, is speed increasing habits. Number one, rules and frameworks. This is a speed increasing habit, is for you to have rules for yourself and have frameworks that you operate through. All a framework is a framework is simply strategies that you use to make decisions, such that when a certain circumstance arises and you have to decide what to do, the rules that you have in place and the frameworks that you have constructed, they make the decisions for you. So you don't need to take time to figure out what to do in every specific situation, because the framework says, okay, when this happens and this happens, that means you do that. The framework is deciding for you. When you have rules, okay, this means this is not okay, this is okay, anything above this is a yes, anything below this is a no. When you have those rules in place, now you don't have to decide what to do every time something happens. All you have to do is look at your rules and your frameworks, and it, again, makes the decision for you. So for example, if you have a rule about how certain emails get handled in your inbox, you don't have to think about what to do every time an email of that type comes through your inbox. Now think about how many emails come through your inbox. If you had rules for that stuff, it'd be a lot easier to handle what was happening in your inbox, right? And there is software these days that does a lot of this for you, and sometimes the email clients do it for you. And if you have Gmail, you notice sometimes they put a marketing email goes into the promotions tab just automatically, or you have to go in and tell it to do something different if you want to do something different. But that's an example of a rule. That's an example of having a framework, having parameters, and you can edit and adjust those as necessary. Any of you who has a team working for you, then you probably have a process. Okay, when I'm going to do this, then that means you pick it up from here. You do this, this, and this, then give it back to me, and I do this. Then it goes over there, and they do that. That's a framework. That's a system. There's also another word you can use for the framework is the system. These are the steps. This is the process that we're going to follow every time this specific situation occurs. And it saves you a ton of time, because not only do you not have to take the time to figure out what to do, you also may not even have to touch it at all. You might not have to do anything at all, especially if you're using technology these days, or using some type of coding or software, things like that, or other people. It saves you personally a bunch of time, because now you don't have to think about what to do. And even if you did, have to touch it yourself, because you have the framework in place, you don't have to think about it. All you have to do is do it. Right? There's no deciding. All right? Like, you wake up tomorrow, if you know the first thing you do every day is go to the gym and work out, you don't wake up tomorrow and say, okay, well, I'm up early, what should I do? Should I go to the gym? I'm not sure. Well, if that's part of your framework that you go to the gym every morning, then you don't have to think about it. So this is all, again, part of your routine. So if you have rules about what happens when somebody comes late to work, you don't have to decide on a case-by-case basis what you're going to do about it. You can let them know, all right, look, you're late to work 3 times, you're fired. You've been late once. All right, so you got one more time, then the third time is over. All right, that's a rule. I'm not saying that should be your rule. I'm saying when you have rules, it's easy to make decisions, and actually you don't have to make a decision. The rule has already made the decision for you. If you have rules on how you operate, let's say the first hour of your day, also known as a morning routine, it doesn't have to be limited to an hour, it could be 3, 4, 5 hours. You don't have to decide what to do every morning when you wake up because the routine has already decided for you. So what rules and frameworks do, folks, is they tell you what to do. They remove the decision-making and thinking process. They take it out of your hands because you already did it one time, so you don't have to do it over and over and over again. These save you time because, again, no more thinking about what to do. All you do is follow the process that you have already installed and put in place. And the more places in your life in which you can do this, the more time you are buying yourself, which allows you to use your brain power for things that are probably more important than every single day making decisions like, when am I going to eat breakfast? When do I go to the gym? What do I do now? What do I do now? So just make these decisions and put them as rules in place. And again, you'll be able to use your brain power on more important things. A prime example of this is Steve Jobs, the Apple executive who passed away a little over a decade ago. He was famous for, at least later in his career, always wearing the same outfit. He bought a closet full of the same black shirt and a closet full of the same pants, and he would just wear the same pants and black shirt every day so that he never had to think about what am I going to wear today, because he was so adamant that he wanted to save his brain power for more important decision-making things, such as creating the products that Apple is now known for. And I think that was a good decision because Apple has become a big conglomerate, despite the fact that they don't even sell that many different products, all based on Steve Jobs' ideas that he used all his brain power on and wasn't using any brain power on what am I going to wear as my clothes today, because that wasn't an important thing for him. Point number 2, today's topic once again is speed increasing habits. Some habits you can implement that'll help you move with more speed and thus let life go by more slowly, and thus you can get more life out of your life. Number 2, batching your tasks. What does batching mean? Batching just means if you know you need to do a multiple of a certain activity, doing it all at once instead of doing it one at a time over an extended period of time, just batching it all at once. So anything you have to do more than one of, you want to look and see if you can do multiples of that task all at the same time. Prime example is this very show. In the recording of this show, I never record just one episode at a time. I always record multiple episodes at the same time whenever I turn on the mic. So, for example, I may record anywhere from 2 to 4 episodes today, the day that I'm recording this, even though they will not all come out on the same day. So every time I turn on the mic, I'm batching. All right, I can get more recorded because I'm already in the state to record. I already got everything set up. I already got my recording material in place. I already got my notes in front of me. So I might as well get a few of them done at once instead of just doing one at a time. So you should look at your situation and ask yourself, where else can you batch your tasks? I don't do it as much here today, but in my days when I was playing basketball, I knew I was going to go to the gym at the same time, same gym, same place every single day. I knew I was going to go to the gym and get a basketball skill on the court workout. Then I was going to leave the basketball gym and I was going to go work out in the fitness gym. At the time, I was going to a LA Fitness. So I would leave the basketball gym, then I'll go to a LA Fitness because the basketball gym I went to didn't have proper fitness equipment like weightlifting stuff. So I had access to 2 different gyms. I would go to that gym and do the weightlifting stuff or the cardio stuff, or whatever I was going to do, and then I would go home. It was a 3-step process. Oftentimes I would even shower while I was in the gym, and I would change my clothes and put on my whatever I was going to wear for the rest of the day while I was in the gym. So I would lay out, let's say on Sunday evening, I would lay out all my clothes Monday through Friday. I would get them all ready in my closet. So I knew that I needed, all right, for the basketball, when I used to play basketball, I would wear 2 pairs of socks for my basketball workouts. So I needed 2 pairs of socks for each day. Then I needed the compression gear. Then I needed the shorts. Then I needed the shirt. Then if I was going to wear like a sweatband or something like that, I needed that. Then I had change clothes for going to the fitness gym. So I needed a new set of clothes for that. Then I had the clothes I was going to wear when I finished showering. I had to do that if I was going to shower at the gym, or if I was going to shower at home, I had those clothes laid out. I would do that for every single day of the week. So I would have 5 days worth of clothes all laid out in my closet, just in order: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I would batch that task because I knew I was gonna have to pick clothes every day anyway. Like every day we put clothes on, right? You go outside with no clothes on, you probably get arrested. So I knew I was gonna have to wear clothes every day. So all I did was batch the task of getting my clothes ready for the week at the beginning of the week. So ask yourself, what are some things that you always do every day that maybe, why can't I just do them all at the same time? I mean, what's the point of me doing it one at a time? Security alarm is going off in my building for some reason.
Attention, your attention please. The fire alarm in the building has been activated. Cease operations immediately. Proceed.
All right, that security alarm is not part of the recording of this episode. Those of you watching on YouTube, if you're watching this on, if you're listening to it on audio, I think we got that cleaned up, but you might have heard a little beeping a second ago. That was not part of the plan here. That was not part of the batch. Another way that people batch that is common these days is meal prep. Any of you who does any type of meal preparation, that is a form of batching. So on a Saturday or a Sunday, what do? You get all the food that you know you're going to eat in the upcoming week, and you put it all in Tupperware containers. I see people do, and you get it all ready on the kitchen counter. You put it all in the fridge, and all right, this is Monday's food, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You have it all ready. So during the week, you don't have to keep making decisions about what am I going to eat. The way that I do this is I have a meal delivery service that delivers meals to me. We live in South Florida. The company is called Health Rush. You can hit them up and mention my name when you reach out to them. They give you a good deal. They're only based in South Florida, by the way. So I've had people outside of South Florida asking me about it. They don't deliver anywhere else. But what they do is they prepare the meals and they bring you a what do they call it? Like a food storage bag that keeps the food cold with ice packs on it. All you do is take the food out of the bag, put it in your fridge, and all you got to do is heat it up to eat it. That is a form of batching, because now I know for the next 3 days exactly what I'm going to be eating. Or if I want to look, I know exactly what I'm going to be eating. I don't need to think about what my meals are going to be. So this activity of batching is connected to, let's move on to point number 3. Actually, one more thing I'll tell you about batching. Any of you who's on my email list, and you should be on my email list if you listen to the show, you see that I send out a significant amount of email. I email damn near every day to people on my list, and I do all that writing myself. I don't have other people write for me, because writing is one of my money skills. So I don't want to outsource my writing. And I batch those tasks. So often I will sit down and knock out 3 or 4 emails at the same time and put them into my automation systems or schedule them to come out, whatever, but that's all batching. This is all connected to point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is speed increasing habits. Number 3, consistently doing your homework. I'm not talking about the homework that you did in school, because when I was in school, I did not do that much homework. So I mean, this is a metaphor here, which means the preparatory work that you do ahead of a task that can be done such that when it is time to actually do the task, you don't need to get ready, because the readiness work has already been completed. That's what doing your homework means. Doing your homework means you did work ahead of time that you won't have to do later. I talked about homework in episode 1925, doing your homework. So when you do your homework consistently, again, you are always prepared for a situation before it occurs. So you need not get ready for the situation when it occurs. For example, when I sit down to record this show and I turn on the microphone, I already have my notes ready. I know exactly what the subject is I'm going to be talking about. I got a few ideas of anecdotes that I may share and points that I know I want to make. I know exactly what it is before I get here. So I don't never sit down with the mic in front of me and I'm staring at the proverbial blank screen just trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about. I already did that work ahead of time. So for example, this particular episode, I'm recording this on Monday, but just yesterday I went through and fleshed out the topics and the points for the next week and a half of episodes that's going to be recorded here on the show. I do that work ahead of time. That's my homework. So that is when it's time to record, or I realize I have a window of time to record, then I can just start recording. I don't have to think about what am I going to do with this space? What am I going to record in this time? So my rule is usually to have at least 10 episodes ready to be recorded every week, even though I may not even record all 10. My goal is to get at least 8 recorded, because there's 7 days in a week. So that 8 lets me sandbag an extra episode every week. But I always want to have 10 ready, just in case I have space to record 10, and just so I got some extras, and that'll hold me over to the next week. So another way to do your homework, folks, is, again, simple thing. I already talked about this. Laying out your clothes the night before. You know you're going to put clothes on, right? You got to pick clothes at some point, so you might as well do it now, so you don't have to use that time in the morning. I have my clothes that I'm going to wear tomorrow already laid out. So I do still pick my clothes out. I just don't pick a whole week's worth of clothes. I just do it one day at a time now. If you know you're going to be going to the gym tomorrow, before or after work, for example, why don't you pack your gym bag and put the bag in the trunk of your car so that you don't have to do it tomorrow? Again, it's not like there's anything in there that's going to expire, right? If you're launching a product and there's a 7 email sequence that you need to send out on specific days and at specific times to launch your product and make sure people buy it, why don't you schedule all the emails at the beginning of the process rather than sending them out one at a time during the next 7 days? These are all different ways of doing your homework. So if you see the episode on doing your homework, again, 1925, you can adopt this as a mindset, not just a tactic. As a matter of fact, folks, I got more points that I want to share here. So this is actually part 1 of a 2-part series. I'm just noticing that as I'm looking at my points here. So this is actually going to be a 2-part series on speed increasing habits. So let's recap today's, and then I'm gonna give you some more in tomorrow's episode. Actually, let me make sure this is it just a 2-part series or the 3-part? Yeah, 2-part series. So tomorrow we'll give you the second half. So speed increasing habits. And again, we all understand why we want to increase our speed, because the faster you move, the slower time goes, and the slower time goes, the more life that you get to live. Knowing that we all have a limited amount of life, being just this one that we get, we want to move faster so we can slow time down. So number 1, rules and frameworks. These are basically decisions that you make ahead of time about anything that could possibly happen, so you don't have to make a decision when it happens. The decision has already been made. Moving on, point number 2, batching your task. Anything you know you need to do a consistent amount of on a consistent basis, figure out where can you do it over and over and over again. There's some things that you can't batch. Right? You can't batch taking a shower. You can't batch brushing your teeth. You got to kind of do those each time. But preparing your meals, laying your clothes out, these are things that you can batch, you can do ahead of time. Writing your emails, scheduling your episodes of your shows or content that's going to come out. You can batch all this stuff and get all of it done at once so you don't have to do it every single time. Number 3, consistently doing your homework. This is the preparatory work so that you are ready for a situation before it happens, so that you don't have to stop and think about or be stuck with what to do when something occurs, because you already did the work ahead of time, knowing that that thing was going to occur, so you were already ready before it happened. These are all ways to increase your speed. Tomorrow we're going to go into 3 more of these to help increase your speed, live faster, and slow time down. Text me so you are in my text community. I send out Monday motivation every Monday, daily motivation every day. My number is 305-384-6894. Work on Your Game University. We focus on mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability. That 4-part framework, that's the only place you can be coached by me. That's at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all